brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God for Israel is that they might be saved. For there is no difference between the Jew and the Greek, for the same Lord over all is rich unto all that call upon him. Zola Levitt presents
Hi, I'm David Hart. Welcome to Zola Levitt Presents.
And I'm Kirsten Hart. We are proud to bring an encore presentation of Esther for such a time as this. First aired in 2010, and we're bringing it back with new guest teachers and a guest analyst even.
Yes, Jeffrey Seif is with us. Many of you know him already. Chaim Mailspin is our new friend, and we just love him. And his wife will be bringing a Hebrew lesson.
And Ted Pearce, he's a musician, and he will be here. We're going to talk about Esther and that amazing story.
But first, let's go to our dramatic reenactment where Mordecai overhears a plot to kill the king.
While King Xerxes garnered favor with most of his subjects, there were those who would usurp the throne. While sitting at the king's gate, Mordecai overhears a disturbing conversation. He meets with Esther and informs her of a wicked plot.
ישבתי בשער הבוקר ושמעתי על מזימה נוראית לרצוח את המלך.
המלך ילך לבדו בגן בליל הירח המלא הבא. אבל נעלם לפני שימצאו אותו, נקח את הלהב
לפיכך עלייך למהר, כי חיי המלך בסכנה.
Contrary to the popular mythology, Jews are a good, just, equitable people. Oh, to be sure, we have our scoundrels, but these prove to be the exception and not the rule. I think Torah formation, being built atop biblical principles, has a way of developing character in individuals that wouldn't otherwise be there. Well, that's the reality of the Jewish people. The myth, however, is that Jews are a horrible lot, a miserable lot. We see in the book of Esther, chapter 2, where Mordecai is saving the king. Xerxes, if you can imagine that, is about to be undone by a scheme. Mordecai discovers it, he informs the queen, and it turns out to his salvation. This, to me, for my money, is prototypical of how Jews, in so many ways, bring so much relief and salvation to so many people, but that's not the story that's told. Preferred over the facts are myths of Jews being a greedy sort, Jews being a vile sort, Jews being worthless, Jews being greedy, the world being in the clutches of the Jews sucking life out of people. And that's the myth that prevails just on the other side of this border, where Iranian proxies are in place, and from which, here in Lebanon, they lob missiles over here into Kiryat Shemot. 22,000 people live over here. There's a nice dense population. Those over here think it's a great target, and they just indiscriminately lob their missiles on the basis of bizarre construal of history that Jewish Zionists are bent on the conquest of peoples that they subdue and then suck the life out of. Oh, the myth is incredible. The myth is very real. But the testimony in biblical literature is very true. And from this place, with this book, I observe, taking my lead from Mordecai, a gorgeous story here a story about a good man, a story about a Jewish man who's a good citizen in the world where he inhabits, and he's given to being a blessing and a help to the world where he abides. And that, my friend, isn't just the story of Mordecai, that is so much the story of the Jewish people, and it amazes me. I'm perplexed, not just amazed with wonderment, but it's perplexing. Jews have been around for thousands and thousands of years, and there are to date about 15 million Jews on planet Earth. And why is that? It's because demonic forces have forever bent on hiving off sections of the Jewish population. Not long ago, in my parents' generation, 6 million Jews were slaughtered. And if the people that are generating the fermenting discontent from coming over here from Lebanon, if those people have their way, another 6 million Jews will be destroyed, and that is these that are dwelling in Israel proper.
Our resource this week, the series Close Encounters with Yeshua on DVD.
This 10-program series focuses on how Jesus, Yeshua, supernaturally came, ministered on earth, and today calls people to draw near to him.
Each program includes location teaching from Israel, a dramatic reenactment, plus interviews with believers about their journey of faith in the Jewish Messiah.
Contact us for the DVD series, Close Encounters with Yeshua.
We live in a topsy-turvy world where news events are often twisted, leading to untruth. Here at Zola Levitt Presents, we believe it's important to tell the truth of God's Word, the Bible. And we believe it should be proclaimed to Israel and the nations. If you believe the same, please consider us in your monthly giving support. Zola Levitt Presents is more than just a television program. There are many ways to connect with us on social media. Join Zola Levitt Presents on Facebook/Zola Levitt to watch this week's episode. Or join us on Twitter at Zola Levitt. Or watch videos on our YouTube channel, Zola Levitt Presents. And don't forget to find everything on our website, levitt.com. We invite you to keep in touch and join us on social media.
We would love for you to connect with us on YouTube, Twitter, and even Facebook. And on levitt.com, if you click onto that site, you can see many of our past programs.
Now let's go back to our dramatic reenactment where everyone is bowing down to Haman except for Mordecai.
And the king exalted Haman till he was above all the princes in the kingdom. All of the king's servants would bow before him, except for one named Mordecai.
אני רואה את דמותו מול עיניי, אפילו בשנתי. הוא ישתחווה לפניי. אם לא בין חומות שושן, אז בצילה של חרבי. אמור לי, מתי נפתור את הממלכה מן היהודים המרדנים הללו?
It's like a fairy tale from yesterday, a story long ago replete with a rags to riches queen, a heinous villain, all the ingredients of fairy tale. The problem is, it's a story that belongs to today as much as yesterday. And it's no fairy tale, but a tale it is. We read in the book of Esther in chapter 3, verse 2 in the Hebrew, Mordecai and Mordecai Lo yikra, he wouldn't bow. There was a villain, Haman, who demanded that individuals bow themselves to him. Mordecai would have none of it. It raises the question if there's a time when individuals with biblical virtue need to stand up and resist evil people, even if it means going against the prevailing currents or even what's sanctioned. The individuals need to stand up at such a time as this. Well, Mordecai believed he needed to stand up. Haman, in response, said that this Jew and all the Jews need to be put down. In chapter 3, verse 6, in my version, and then yours, we're told, Vayevakesh, and he looked, Haman, Lahashmid, to destroy, et kol ha-Yehudim, all of the Jews. You know, a better man may have been offended by one man and thought nothing of it, but no, so vitiated, so defiled was Haman, knowing he was a Jew. The angst he felt about Mordecai stimulated juices within him to destroy a race of people. That, friends, is tragic. And you know, friends, that story as well is today. Yesterday there was a Haman. Oh yes, there was. And that Haman was in Persia. Ancient Persia is where modern Iran is, and similarly there's a Haman there too. And his name is Ahmadinejad. Similarly, at this very shelter where I'm standing right now, and you're going to go into the bowels of it with me in a moment, in this very shelter, people flee because rockets rain down on this place. The Jewish population is dense here. And what happens here is terrorists know they can hit a civilian target, so they just unleash rockets with fury. And this anger, this fury, these arms that bear down on Jewish people are sponsored by Iran of today. Hezbollah, in effect, is their proxy. And so much as yesterday, we see Persian intrigue. We see an individual bent on destroying all the Jews. So today, in this place, many Jews run for refuge as forces from Iran bring pressure to bear to destroy the Jews even still. Come with me, let me show you what it looks like down here.
Our resource this week, the series Close Encounters with Yeshua on DVD.
This 10-program series focuses on how Jesus, Yeshua, supernaturally came, ministered on earth, and today calls people to draw near to him.
Each program includes location teaching from Israel, a dramatic reenactment, plus interviews with believers about their journey of faith in the Jewish Messiah.
Contact us for the DVD series, Close Encounters with Yeshua.
For insightful perspectives on Israel and Bible prophecy, ask for our free monthly newsletter, The Levitt Letter. At levitt.com, you can read the newsletter, watch the TV program, or visit our online store. Stay current with us on social media via Facebook and Twitter. Come with us on a tour of Israel or Petra, or a cruise to Greece and Ephesus. Please contact us for more information.
We have life-changing tours both in the fall and the spring. We would love it if you would consider going with us on one of our tours. Kirsten, tell me one of your life-changing moments in Israel.
I don't know if it's life-changing, but it's one of my favorite places, and you'll get to go when you go on our tour, is the Dead Sea.
Yes.
And I know they say it's dead and it's so far below sea level, but it has some of the best mud facial mud in your whole body in the world. Every time we go, we slather it on, we sit out in the sun, let it dry, and you scrub it off. Your skin has never felt better.
Yes.
It's amazing. Go with us. We'd love to have you experience the Dead Sea also.
And now let's go to Deanna Mailspin for our Hebrew lesson today.
Shalom Chaverim. Welcome. Today is Purim. Purim is a holiday here in Israel. Purim actually means lots, and we celebrate the life of Queen Esther. So during this holiday, we like to greet each other by saying Chag Sameach, Happy Holidays.
Thank you so much, Deanna, for our Hebrew lesson, our weekly. We get to learn Hebrew right here on Zola Levitt Presents. Today's word was Chag Sameach.
Very good.
Which means
Happy holiday.
happy holidays.
Yes. We need to experience a happy holiday in Israel sometime together.
We will.
Yeah.
And the Feast of Purim is a wonderful time to be there. It's festive, it's fun, it's happy, it's Chag Sameach.
Very good. Yes.
But not such a happy time was when Haman convinced the king to kill all the Jews. Let's go back to our dramatic reenactment, the story of Esther.
אם זה מרצה את המלך, שייכתב שהאנשים האלה יושמדו. ואני אשלם 10,000 כיכרות כסף לעוסקים במלאכה.
שמור את כספך. האנשים האלה הם שלך. עשה בהם כרצונך.
לכל המושלים ושומרי החוק בממלכה. בהתאם לצו המלך, מוכרז בזאת, כי בי"ג באדר יושמדו כל היהודים. כל גבר, כל אישה וכל ילד יומתו ורכושם יילקח. יום זה מאושר לטבעת המלך.
Moms grab their kids by the arm and they bring them down here. What's the here? It's a big room. It's a shelter deep underground here in northern Israel. It's nice to see the beautiful pictures, but it's sad because they are put on the walls to distract the children. Because moms bring them here in haste because there's rockets going on uptown, right above. And it happens all the time. And they have 60 seconds to grab them and get them in here because people get killed. And you want to take their mind off their trouble, so there's some cartoons to lighten the atmosphere. There's books all over the place. It's a little library to get the kids off the current, to get them into a book. Well, I want to get you into a book too. It's a book that talks about what's happening here in the sense that it reminds that it's an old story. The rockets that are coming into Israel, forcing people underground, a lot of this is funded by Iranian intrigue. And similarly, here in the book of Esther, played out in ancient Persia, which would be the land where Iran is today. Here, there was a scheme enacted to destroy all Jews, and it's explicit that the death sentence extends to women and children alike. It's not a very good story. In chapter 3, verse 13, I'll read it in my version and then give it to you in a way that's more understandable to you. V'nishloach Siforim, and were sent letters biyad harotzim, by the hand of the posts. And by the way, the Persian mail system was so efficient that it was even a model for our own Pony Express, if you can imagine that. Well, here Haman dispatches these individuals carrying letters. Et kol medinot hamelech, to all the provinces of the king. And here it is, it's ugly. Lehashmid, to destroy. Leharog, to slay, a little superfluous there. Ul abed, and the cause to perish. Et kol haYehudim, all the Jews. And it says explicitly, mit na'ar viad zokain, the young and the old. Taf v'noshim, little children and women.
Thank you, Dr. Seif, for that wonderful and powerful story today. We have our guest analyst with us today, Ted Pearce. So great to have you for this series.
Thank you. Great to be back again.
Good. Kirsten and I both grew up in the church. I'm a pastor's son. Kirsten's folks were in music growing up.
All right.
And I know as kids, we'd read the Bible. We loved reading the Bible, but really didn't have a heart for what we were reading for Israel until about 8 years ago. And now our heart is there really full time. We love Israel. How about you? When was your experience of feeling like Israel is home?
Well, I grew up an atheist. I was 29 years old when this car dealer drew me into an argument about the Sabbath. And I actually started reading the Bible to prove that it was wrong. I guess you see how that worked out. But for 4 months, I was intently and obsessive about reading the Bible to find something wrong with it. Well, after 4 months of not being able to do that, I just issued a challenge to God while driving home one night in my car, and I was a different person. That was January 15th, 1990. And then I began reading the Bible to know Him, to know this Jesus I had called upon in my car. And it was a totally different experience than trying to prove He was wrong. There were two things I noticed right off the bat. Number one, Jesus was nothing like what I thought He was. And I think those of us who have been in the faith for a long time, like yourselves, maybe sometimes we forget that those who don't know Him have just never met Him.
Right.
Because I couldn't resist. I didn't really want to love God, but I couldn't resist when I met Him. But the other thing I noticed was that as I read the New Testament, all these people are Jews. I mean, I thought Peter was the Pope and Mary was a Catholic and John was a Baptist and Paul was a Pentecostal. But, where I grew up in Vidor, Texas, we're known for racism, And it had been dangerous to be a Jewish person in this very religious city. And so anyways, I remember growing up wondering why they hated the Jews. I couldn't figure this out. I couldn't tell the difference by looking. So anyway, so all these years later, as I'm reading the Bible, I'm seeing all these people are Jewish. This is not what I was told. You know what I mean? So I wondered, well, what happened to them? Where did they go? And I just started calling around looking for churches that had a lot of Jewish people. And
in Texas.
In Dallas, actually.
Wow.
And finally, it was a pastor told me about Baruch Hashem, a Messianic Jewish congregation, where that was the first place I walked into as a new believer. And they're singing and dancing and clapping and having more fun than any of the bars I was playing at with my band. And anyway, I just walked into this totally new culture that sort of harkens back to ancient times, They're singing the scriptures with this, to me it sounded Arabic, you know what I mean? With this Middle Eastern sounding music. And I just remember listening to it and I would just weep all the way through the services because it was so holy.
Well, you're talking about music and the wonderful Jewish flavor in music. Can we hear one of your songs?
Oh, I would love to do that.
Good. Let's go to that now. Here's our special guest analyst and musician, Ted Pearce.
Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha. Hey! Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Yom Ze L'Yisrael, Ora v'simcha, Shabbat Menucha, Shabbat Menucha.
Please join us next week as we continue our series, Esther, for Such a Time as This. But for now, Sha'alu Shalom, Yerushalayim.
Pray for the peace of Jerusalem.
Our monthly newsletter, The Levitt Letter, is free and full of insightful articles and news commentary from a messianic perspective. Visit levitt.com to find our newsletter, along with current and past programs, our television schedule, and much more.
Don't forget to order this week's resource by calling 1-800-WONDERS, or you can purchase it from our store at levitt.com.
Your donations to Zola Levitt Ministries help these organizations bless Israel.
Thanks again for joining us this week. Zola Levitt Ministries and this television program depend on tax-deductible donations from viewers like you.
This has been a paid program brought to you by Zola Levitt Ministries.